Hello again. I'll be brief because I'm half frozen here in the shop at the end of the day. Swipe my electrics. E-car number 3. We've talked about the problems with those. So to go back to Ontario, natural gas. We generate a lot of our electricity that way. You look at the stack above them. Heat's going up there. You know, we're wasting thermal energy cooking that stuff, boiling water, creating electricity, which again, I'm freezing, so we won't get into how much of that's lost down the way. Natural gas, it goes everywhere. It's in every big metropolis. Cars can run on natural gas. It's been done. It's really nothing kind of new there. Would it not be a whole lot more efficient to put the natural gas right into the car without all these myriad of losses en route? Again, it's been done. Now, I don't know how clean they burn. You can put a filling station at home, so you can fill your car in scant moments. They can be set up anywhere there's natural gas running around, quick and easy. You know, same as putting in a hydro charging station for your electric car. But again, why make it over here, turn it into this, ship it there, lose that, blah, blah, blah. And pump it into your car. And you fill up in scant moments. Again, you could just come home, fill your car up. You know, by the time you bring in your garbage pails from the street or whatever, say hello to the kids, the dog. The car's full, it's ready to go. Again, it can be anywhere. Propane. I remember in the early 80s, they gave subsidies for that, grant subsidies, whatever they did. Didn't work out real well. A couple of problems. One was propane wasn't everywhere like it is now. You know, did everybody in 1982 have a propane barbecue like they do now? Could you go to any hardware store or any big box store anywhere that you can fill up a propane tank? No, they weren't all over the place. People weren't heating their homes with it and stuff. No, maybe some were, I don't know. Again, vague on statistics. However, propane's everywhere now, and it can be everywhere. So, what comes out of the pipe when you burn propane? Water. Do we have an abundance of propane? Sure we do. It's just like natural gas. This is Canada. We got lots of both of them. So, why aren't we investing our exploratory resources, our quest to be greener, in some technologies that we already have? The internal combustion engine. You run it on propane. Now here's another problem that was a bit of a setback with the propane. They made dual fuel vehicles. We didn't use that term then. They could run on either gasoline or propane. One problem, propane makes 60% of the power of gasoline. So your car felt sluggish and slow when you switched to propane. Now, this can be countered if you build the engine totally to run on propane. You up the compression from, let's say 9-to-1 to 13-to-1. You get full power, you get all the energy potential out of the propane. And again, what comes out of the tailpipe is ultra clean. So, part of the problem with them running dual fuel or flex fuel as we'd call it now, propane runs so clean in your motor. A motor that would get 300,000 K would get 1 million plus. They run that clean. There aren't these hydrocarbon byproducts contaminating your engine with carbon buildup, which goes down and contaminates your oil. Pretty much the reason you got to change your oil. We've got additives and all this stuff. The oil doesn't really break down, it gets contaminated from the gasoline. The oil comes to the point it can't deal with that anymore, you got to change your oil. You run it on propane, man, that oil lasts forever in that engine. and the engine will last forever. And again, we've got propane now. Can come to your door. I've lived in places, they have the, what are they, 250 bottles. Go out in the country, they got the big torpedoes, you can heat your house all winter on them. If the big box store will fill your barbecue propane tank, or the bigger cylinders, for salamanders on job sites, whatever, you got 20, 30, 100-pound tanks. It's nothing for them to put another nozzle on with a different fitting to fill your car. It's even conceivable you could carry a spare, 20-pound barbecue tank, if you're traveling somewhere between places that there's going to be propane. I'm not saying it's a faultless system, be it the propane or the natural gas. However, we've got both of them in abundance. We're already making internal combustion engines. Why are we messing around with batteries, to beleaguer a point, a battery? You fill it up, leave it sit there, don't run it. It dissipates energy, it loses it. Now, on a dry August day, it's pretty slow. 24th of February, when it's 24 degrees below zero, really fast. I've mentioned it before, use the analogy, hole in your gas tank. Leave a gallon of gas sit there for a week or a month. Doesn't really lose any thermal energy. Battery? Absolutely. It's only a matter of how fast it loses it. Battery, limited lifespan. Well, somebody's going to say, well, you can't leave a gallon of gas sit there for, 5 years. What's the life expectancy of a battery? Well, no, who's going to leave a gallon of gas sitting there for 5 years? Not really apt to happen. Kind of apples and oranges. In theory, you could fill your battery, never drive the car. It's going to dissipate. Fill it again, never drive the car. Never ever drive the car. Just keep putting money, energy, carbon footprint into that car. Into that battery until the battery doesn't work anymore. It has a lifespan. Nobody's made the everlasting battery. We'd like to, but nobody thinks that's just around the corner. And then again, we got to dispose of the battery. So my point of this ramble is, why aren't we looking at kind of just taking a little step back? This new, wind turbines, solar panels, the whole concept of electric. The car's green, doesn't put any emissions out. Well, the gas hydro generating station did. Again, we lose it en route. Battery, problem child, little toxic thing, limited lifespan. If we went to propane and or natural gas, if we took a step back and started having a look at that, would we be making less emissions, a smaller carbon footprint? We're not losing it in transmission. The natural gas pipelines, they're running down your street in front of your house, they're running into your basement. They don't leak. They don't leak like hydro lines do. They're building a new subdivision. Somebody with a backhoe boo-boos, hits the natural gas line. They're there like the SWAT team. They fix that leak. They don't want it just running into the ground. They're losing money. Oh, they're there, they fix it. Not to mention it's a big fire hazard, but on a nationwide level, how often do you hear there might be a house a year or something that catches fire due to a gas leak? It's probably the owner-operator's fault with the house. He changed the stove connection to get somebody who knows how to do a soap bubble test on it. Natural gas, propane, it's not being dissipated into the atmosphere. Your hydro lines, every time it goes through a transformer station, those little transformer ballasts out on the posts, whoosh, that energy's just rocketing off all over the place. And again, then you put it in your car, your battery, your e-car, it leaks out. I'm half froze and I'm going fast. Why don't we take a step back, look at natural gas and propane? We don't have to invent and develop and mess around with new technologies, create stuff that we know is a polluting thing. The technology's there. Why don't we step back and look at it? I think that's monetarily motivated by the powers that be. Big money. Maybe the hogs at the trough. See my political rant and rambles. Anyways, that's my point on, is it an e-car rant and ramble, or is it an alternative to e-car rant and ramble? Take care.